Looking to have your day brightened up? You're in the right place. Welcome to the #Positivity Podcast.
Hey guys, thanks so much for tuning into the podcast. My guest today, and kind of from here on out, is going to be Mr. John C. Martin. Changing up the format a little bit for you guys. So in the past, it's been myself and a guest, and on occasion, me recording by myself. I think that's kind of boring. I don't like listening to myself talk. So we're going to have a co-host. I think that we're going to be able to do some really cool things. We're going to be able to bounce ideas back and forth off of one another, different perspectives. It's going to make it a little bit more interesting for you guys, the listeners. And I'm really excited that John was into this. John, welcome aboard. It's awesome to have you in the studio and as a partner moving forward.
It is so awesome to be here. When you brought the idea up to me about doing the whole podcast thing after I was a guest with you about a month or so ago, this sort of world is something I've always thought about getting into, especially with, the public speaking that I do and the work that I do with kids. And so for me, it was a no-brainer. I'm beyond excited, super honored to be doing this. And I think you and I, not just to be able to talk about topics that are close to our heart and true to the way we try to live our lives, but really to showcase what's going on, not just in our area, but around the country and around the globe in terms of the great things that people are doing to help one another. So I'm beyond fired up to get this thing rolling. I think it's the start of something that's hopefully going to take off and just be an awesome thing to be a part of. So I'm super excited.
I'm excited too. I think, I was a little hesitant when I first asked you, not to have you come on board, but I was like, I don't know. He's a busy guy. He's got a lot of stuff going on, and I don't know if he's going to have the time to do this, but I'm super excited. As soon as you sent me that text back, I was like, Matt, look at that. I'm showing all my buddies. I'm like, he's into it. We're going to do it.
We got to make time too, right? The things that we're passionate about, and one of the things that I've been really consciously working on, is that there's a huge difference between being busy and being productive. And so for so long, I think like a lot of us, we spin our wheels. And so I want to get myself involved with things. If it doesn't involve my family and my full-time job, then I want to invest my time, attention, and energy on stuff that I'm passionate about. And I honestly believe in what you're doing through #Positivity, but I think this is just going to be an awesome vehicle for us to bring in phenomenal guests who are living this way every day, have great dialogue about what people can do, maybe in small ways, to improve their lives or improve the lives of the people they love and care about, or that complete stranger that they've never met, and have a ton of fun along the way too. So I know that before we went on the air here, we were already having plenty of it. So, I just think to have a dialogue around the things that are going on in our world today, and to try to shed some light on it that is a lot brighter than what we hear every day and what we're sort of inundated with in the news and the media. And so let's just get after it, man, and see what happens.
Absolutely. Yeah. Like we mentioned before we went on the air, I was trying to find good news stories, positive news stories online, and it's so difficult. So I think it's pretty neat that we'll be able to share that. This will be a venue for people to come to, listen in the gym, on the way to work, wherever. Just have something nice to listen to, a good different perspective. And it doesn't have to be some big news story all the time. If you're going through something in your life, I'm going through something in my life, getting that outside perspective is super, super helpful. So I think that the listeners are going to benefit from that. I'm going to benefit from it, and same with you. So I think it's going to be pretty awesome.
And I think, for me, it's not this whole notion, this #Positivity, this brand that you have worked really, really hard to build. When I've talked to people locally about it, and sort of the merch is starting to get out there, and the message is getting out there. It's not this idea that everything is rainbows and butterflies and life is always great, and that we are just the two happiest guys on the planet,
right,
and nothing in our world ever goes wrong. For me, that's not it at all.
Absolutely
For
not.
me, it's a perspective and a lens by which I choose to look at life. And I think our guests, as we move forward, are going to be people from all walks of life, men, women, children of all races, creeds, colors, orientations, that choose to take sometimes really unfortunate situations and continue to press regardless of the fact that what they're going through really sucks, or what we would consider to be your everyday people that are doing extraordinary things either in their own lives, with their families, in their communities. So for me, this is a great opportunity to share with anybody that wants to listen that we're not going to sit back here and hold hands and make light of tragic events. No, we're going to talk about the real stuff that's going on in the world. We're going to talk to real people that are living really positive, extraordinary lives that won't necessarily be measured in their bank account or their home, but they're walking the walk.
Yep.
Because they choose to get up every day and attack the day and don't sit in whatever it is that life is throwing their way.
Yep.
So that's what I'm excited about.
Yeah, absolutely.
Really excited about.
Just to follow up on that, like you said, we're not the most positive people in the world. I've got things that I'm dealing with. I'm sure you do too, and everybody out there does. But you take a bad situation, you find the light in that situation. You find the positive situation, and that's
or be okay with recognizing that, you know what, it sucks and it's negative, but what we've learned, what I've learned throughout my life, and what I'm sure you have, and hopefully the folks that listen and watch, is that sitting in that, whatever the situation is, sitting in it doesn't make it better.
Yep.
Right? And so at some point you got to get up and press, and hopefully we can share some things with folks that really inspire them. My biggest hope is that people will listen to this and go, you know what? These are just two regular dudes who, instead of joining the train of a lot of other people who just get inundated with this garbage that we're surrounded with in our lives, they decided to not just sit on their hands, they decided to do something about it. And so I'm all in, because I have a great appreciation for people that say, you know what, it's very, very, very easy to talk about the problems, but very few people want to step up and become part of the solution. So let's try in our way to become part of the solution in any way that we can. So for me, that's what I'm fired up about. Cool. And super, super excited. And I know, you and I have talked about some of the folks we want to have come on.
Yep. I think people are going to be delighted with some of the guests that we end up having, and I'd like to revisit some of the other guests that we've had.
Absolutely.
Maybe bring them back for follow-ups.
Absolutely.
Or even just touch on those subjects. Some of the people that I've talked to continue to do some amazing things out there. A couple episodes back, my buddy Jonas came on, and he's out there doing some motivational speaking like what you do.
Yeah.
And we've gone into a couple different schools and done positivity days, and actually we'll be out later this week at the Willie Ross School for the Deaf. We're going to go in there and
we have
share stories with those kids. And
we have a lot of Willie Ross students, in the school that I work at. And I think for a lot of those kids, or kids that struggle with anything, and for the parents of those kids, when they go to what we would call a traditional public school, those kids feel sort of lost, and they feel like they're on their own, and they only have one another to sort of lean on or hang out with. And so I love the immersion we have with kids of all different exceptionalities in our school, and it's awesome for our kids, and I think it's great for those kids as well. So that'll be a cool visit.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that one.
That was a really cool visit.
That was a connection that I actually made through another previous guest, Bob the Bike Man. He teaches mechanics to some of the students from Willie Ross, and stuff like that you never really think of. I never, until talking to Bob about that, I never would have thought, hey, you know what, these people who are deaf need to learn a trade, and how are you going to do that?
It's much more. There are much bigger obstacles to overcome, right?
Yeah. Yep.
When you're impaired, when if you can't hear, can't see.
Yep. Little things that we never think about, because we're not afflicted with those conditions, or
because we take stuff for granted.
Absolutely.
And so this is another avenue for you and I, but for hopefully the people that are listening, to say, man, I'm blessed in so many ways. This, just in terms of how you start your day. How do you start your day? Because if your day is filled with negative thoughts, attitudes, beliefs, when you hit the floor in the morning, how do you think the rest of your day is going to go?
Right. Yeah, you're setting the tone right off the bat. As soon as before you even open your eyes, I mean, you're already
right out of the gate.
You're building the foundation for the rest of that afternoon. So,
and so, I just think in light of everything that we're going to talk about, but you talked about Bob, the guy that builds the bike for kids, or Jonas going to speak at the Willie Ross School. I think what people don't understand is we are surrounded by people that are doing things every day without any notoriety, without any publicity, without any of that stuff. They're going out and they're kicking ass every single day of the week because they believe it's the right thing to do. And I think a lot of times people lose sight of that because of everything that we're surrounded with. There's a lot of negativity out there.
Absolutely, it sure is.
And so there are people just doing unbelievable work. Celebrities all the way down. And I can't wait to highlight some of those people and to learn from them. And hopefully, the biggest thing for me that I hope comes out of this as we move forward, this is day one for us, right?
Yep, absolutely.
First 20 minutes in, I really hope people can count on tuning in every single week, and it gives them a little bit of a dose of what they think they need to either help get through the day. I hope they start to interact with us, to reach out to us, and we'll talk to them at the end today about how to get a hold of us. But yeah, that would be my hope, is that people just can use this as an outlet to keep moving forward with whatever they're dealing with.
We become that foundation in the morning that they tune in.
Hey, Alexa, I hope so.
Hey Alexa, turn on the #Positivity Podcast.
And just yesterday, I don't know if you were out there or not, but every year they have the Raise a Hope Walk for breast cancer awareness, for finding the cure for breast cancer through Forest Park. And we, my family and I, we have never missed a year since its inception. My mother is multiple time cancer survivor. And when you talk about your theme and the company that you've created and the brand that you're trying to build, there's not anybody that was there yesterday that doesn't realize that cancer sucks, and it's really scary, and it's really hard on families and the patient. But when you surround yourself with people that choose to take a different approach to really bad situations, you can't help but be uplifted. And so that's just one example. There are countless, but the thousands and thousands of people there. And just to piggyback on that, shout out to the Springfield Police Department, who, from what I was told, all the officers, the men and women who worked that event yesterday, all do it as volunteer. So it's not an extra detail for them. It's not a duty for them.
They just do it on their
own.
They
volunteer, and maybe some of them in one way or another have been affected. Like who hasn't been in one way or another, right?
Yeah. So, what's that 4 steps removed thing that you can be connected to anyone for any kind of thing?
Absolutely.
There's so many people who are affected by it. Not only just breast cancer either. I mean, any kind of cancer. It's so widespread. It's such a huge problem, and obviously we're progressing with medical technology and finding cures for things every day, or different ways to treat things. But yeah, I think it was $12 million they've raised through Raise of Hope since they started. It's been about 20 years, right? That they
astronomical. Yeah, it's close to 2 decades.
Yep.
And I feel like it gets bigger and bigger every year. And the weather yesterday certainly helps. I mean, it was a perfect day.
Beautiful day.
But it was just awesome to be a part of. But that's exactly what I mean. To your point, where you were just talking about, where we all have a connection with someone who's been sick or hurt or whatever. And all the more reason why this stuff that we're talking about and we'll continue to talk about is so important to us, right? We take for granted, most of us, the fact that we have the ability to do what we're doing in this moment. Not just you and I.
Yep.
Anybody that's listening.
Across the board.
To be able to do what you're doing in this moment is a gift. Because there are people that we know, maybe people of listeners that they know that they didn't, their feet didn't hit the floor this morning.
Yep.
Right? So for me, that's sort of my mindset and my approach when I get up every day. Like, okay, it's another great blessing. My feet hit the floor in the morning because somebody didn't.
Yeah.
And so
just being born, like, I mean, I know we're both Gary V guys. Don's a Gary V guy, so the odds of becoming a human, 400 trillion to 1. So
pretty tough.
How blessed are we just to even be born, just to get a go at this life, to be on Earth as a person.
Yeah,
how awesome.
And we just, I guess our hope probably, Jay, is as we talk about it all the time, and is that people realize that whatever they're going through, and believe me, we're going to highlight the stuff that we highlight is not doom and gloom and rise from the ashes in every case, but we want people that, I think people underestimate how powerful hope is. Hope is a really, really powerful tool. And it's, a lot of people don't have it or have never had it, or it's lost for one reason or another.
Right.
So hopefully the stories that we share will provide that as well, and some humor and some fun. Because we get to do this thing one time.
Yep.
So, and we're taking a leap of faith here, you and I. Like we're not. I'm not a podcast guy.
I'm not
but we're podcast guys now. You know what I mean?
That's right.
So if we're gonna do it, let's do it.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
I've been super excited since we met last week and talked about kind of what we want to shape this thing into. I'm really excited for the future of this. I'm excited to bring some value to the guests. I'm so thankful for our other friends who are involved. We got Don behind the camera. He's videotaping this for us, so we can have it on. Put this on YouTube. So it's not just gonna be an audio format anymore. You guys will be able to see this on YouTube. We'll have videos and hopefully just broaden the content that we have. We speak to a bunch of cool people. I'm excited because we have a couple different perspectives here too. It's pretty awesome. The things that you do on a daily basis just for your career, working with children, seeing the issues that they deal with kind of at a younger age, becoming adults. And then I think I see most people on the other end of the spectrum. They're at the end of their life cycle, going to the hospital in an ambulance and things like that.
Or you see them in situations where literally their life is on the line.
Yep.
And so we definitely have different perspectives, and I that's again something I'm excited about. I want to be able to have tough conversations with you and the people that join us because that's how we grow, and that's the other thing I think that we're missing. People don't want to have difficult conversations, and people kind of they put their feet in the ground and they say, "This is my stance, and this is where I'm staying," and that's that. And you and I both. I mean, I have no interest in making this a political discussion or a political podcast. If anything, we're trying to get away from that.
Right.
But we can't ignore what's going on in our world.
Oh yeah, you can't put the blinders on and just pretend it's not happening. But yeah, definitely not. Yeah, I'm right there with you. This isn't. I typically avoid politics altogether. I'm aware of what's going on, but I don't really discuss it too much. It's one of those things. Not to say that I'm not interested, but it's just. I choose to take it with a grain of salt and move on.
I'm very, very interested, but I think, I spoke about this at another venue I was at about a week or so ago, but I think people have lost sight of the fact that there's a huge difference between politics and patriotism. And in light of what's gone on over the last couple of years in our country, I think people have had trouble separating the two.
Right.
So, and that's a conversation that could go on for hours.
That's another 2 hour, yeah.
And really flies in the face of what we're trying to accomplish here.
Right, yeah.
You know what I mean? So, but, I think we're going to, like we said before, we're going to welcome tons of different people, and they're all going to have different views, and it's going to be a lot of fun to sort of see where this thing goes.
Yeah, I think it'll be fun to reach out and have guests visit the studio here, have guests call in. I think it'll be neat to go out on location too. A lot of the episodes that I've done so far have been traveling to Boston or New York and gone kind of on location with people that we've recorded with. Luckily we have the ability to do that with this equipment, so I think it'd be pretty neat to go out and
Awesome.
Sit down with someone, whether it be at a brewery or wherever in their home, and just record and shoot the shit, so to speak, and put it out there.
100%, and that would be more than a lot of fun to do. And I think it's great. It'll be great for our audience to see that we're willing to go out and sort of highlight people that are doing this kind of stuff in their lives, in their work, in their communities, and we for those of you folks that are listening or watching, we strongly encourage you to reach out to us through the #positivity.org. There's a section up for comments, and please reach out to us. Let us know what you'd like us to talk about on future episodes. If you have folks in mind that you think would be a great guest that you know of, either locally, we're in New England, but we will absolutely reach out to folks anywhere that you think could be a great guest for us that can help us spread the message that we're trying to spread. So please use that platform to reach out to us. We want to hear from you. We want to communicate with you.
Right, and that's the beauty of a podcast format too, right? Is that it's not, though we are filming this, it's not us walking around town and we're limited to where we can travel on a day-to-day basis or what we can afford to do. I mean, we can reach out to anyone. We have technology, we got cell phones, we got all this fancy stuff. We got
a great media guy too.
Yep, we got an awesome media guy.
A great media guy who he's going to get really upset if we tell him to come on camera because he can't stand it. He always says I'm the other side of the camera guy. When I go out to speak, Donnie comes with me a lot, and I just can't get him to get in front of the camera. But
we'll flip it on one of these days. Actually, maybe what we could do is when we live stream this, we'll just live stream Don recording us.
That'd be fun, wouldn't it?
That would be pretty good.
They'd much rather look at him anyways.
I think so.
Yeah, they would much rather look at him. So I don't know how long we'll be able to keep him anyways. His prices are astronomical.
Yeah, I think we're going to send those bills off like we talked about earlier.
We
send them to someone else.
Somebody really special is getting those bills.
So, I'm really excited about this, and I think one of the other things we want to do is talk about things in the news. So, maybe is there anything that you've seen going on that we should talk about from this past week?
Absolutely. So you were talking about great, and one of the things I think we want to highlight is just great stuff that we read or see. And I think a hot topic item over the last, certainly since the beginning of the NFL season, has been around protests relative to issues that people are facing throughout this country today, and certain players have taken very clear sides in this issue. But I wanted to share something sort of from the NFL that is a little bit different than the controversy and the discussions that we've had really since the end of August around the American flag and whether people should sit, kneel, or stand. This is from Philadelphia Eagles, Chris Long. For those of you that don't know who Chris Long is, he is a veteran NFL defensive end. He's had stints in a few different teams in the NFL, played for the Patriots for a time, and is now with the Eagles. And he's also the son of a regular NFL contributor, Howie Long, who's a Hall of Famer that played for the Oakland Raiders. So Chris Long decided that he is going to work this year essentially for no pay. So he's going to take his base salary of $1 million and he is going to donate it. So just a quick clip here from a news outlet. Long is putting his entire $1 million base salary behind his belief that education opens doors for all Americans. I'm playing the entire 2017 NFL season without collecting income because I believe that education is the best gateway to a better tomorrow for everyone in America, Long wrote in a statement. I'm encouraging fans, businesses, and every person with a desire to join in my pursuit of equal education opportunities for all students to make their own pledge. He is hoping to double the money he is pledging with his final 10-game checks by urging people in Philadelphia, St. Louis, and Boston to donate his Pledge 10 for Tomorrow campaign to help students. So talking about using your platform as a celebrity or as an athlete to take on a challenge that will hopefully help kids from every economic area, every demographic around this country, is just a pretty awesome thing. So we're going to try to embed these in every week, but that's sort of the quick story for today. I don't know what your take is. It's been around, it's been out for a while, but
I think when did he announce that? Was it last week? Or
so
like that?
This was dated October 18th. So roughly a week ago.
Yeah.
He's a guy that went to University of Virginia. And, he goes on to say, I've made a ton of money in my career. So he's not in a position where he's scraping check to check, but he recognizes that people are.
Yep.
And I think he also recognizes, and I certainly recognize, that not every kid in this country has the same access to education. Period.
Right. Oh, no, definitely not.
So he's doing his part. And there are so many celebrities and athletes and people of notoriety, if you will, that give of their time and money. And I love it when I see guys like this that are doing both. He's giving up his time and money.
Yep.
So,
and $1 million, we hear about these astronomical amounts of money these days. Some of the celebrities, what they take in, or athletes. $1 million is still a whole lot of money, and that can go a long way to help people out with, especially when you're talking about education or other things like that. $1 million can go a long way. And J.J. Watt, when he just did something similar. He helped raise a bunch of money, tens of millions of dollars for one of the hurricanes.
The hurricane down in Texas and Houston. His goal, when J.J. Watt did that, I don't know if you heard this, but his initial goal, he put out it was like a message through Twitter or something. His goal was $250,000.
Yep.
$250,000 was his goal.
Yeah, and it snowballed so fast.
It was still growing.
Right. I think it was, there was a day where I watched, and I think the day started at something like $5 million, and it ended at 10 or 50. He just kept increasing his goals. And celebrity and professional athletes, what a huge platform. We hear about a lot of the bad things that they do, but a lot of these guys and girls are out there doing amazing things with the attention that they can bring in, and kind of rally the troops to raise money or raise awareness
Absolutely.
for a lot of these different causes.
They are using their platform for good. They're using their platform for good.
Yep.
While we were on today, I don't know if you have anything else you want to add to that piece, but and again, for the people that listen and watch, if you have stories like that you want to share them with us, and we will share them here on the podcast. We want to try to make this as much of a community as we can, in the sense that we want to hear from you guys. We want to talk to you, and we want to see what you're seeing in your cities, towns. So please,
a lot of these stories. So I try to stay up to date, and if I see something positive come through the social media platforms, I'll take a look at it, maybe save it so that I can look back on it. But there's a lot of stuff, a lot of local stories that don't make it out this far. So if someone sees something in their hometown, a local story that somebody's doing good things, making a positive impact, that's stuff that we might not necessarily see. So we'd love to have people submit those stories to us, or tag us online in a post. Like you mentioned earlier on the website, #positivity.org, we've got a spot down below, and it says, what does positivity mean to you? And there's a button there you can click, let us know, gives the contact information. We'd love to have you guys submit stories. It's just more value that we can bring to them. So being able to broaden our reach, have people that are listening from across the country submit stories that are maybe happening locally. It doesn't always have to be professional athletes.
No.
It doesn't have to be celebrities. It's
absolutely not.
The everyday Joe out there doing nice
extraordinary
things. For the
things.
Yeah,
the everyday Joe out there doing extraordinary things.
Yep, that's the
how
stuff.
cool was it a few weeks ago when we were talking, and you and I had a similar connection in Australia.
Right.
Through the work that the speaking that I do, the stuff I have on social media, plus the #positivity stuff that you do, we made the same connection.
Yep.
I know Donnie did as well.
Yep.
With a young lady who's a teacher in Australia, and she really sort of bought into what we're trying to do and the work that we're trying to do. And so for people that say, and that's the other thing, there'll be people out there, and I'm more than prepared for it. I could care less, to be honest with you, but there are always going to be people out there that, what are you doing? It's not going to make any difference. And that's exactly the type of stuff.
That's what we're trying to get away from.
And I not only get away from it, I want to fight it head on and say, listen, if you think that's going to deter us from continuing to do this, because I've seen before we even talked about doing the podcast, in my own work over almost 20 years, in your work, in life, I can't tell you how many different stories we've seen of people that are just walking the walk. They're doing the right thing, and trying to do their best to be as good as they can to people, you know? And so I embrace the hate. I
it
really
just fuels the fire.
I embrace
That's
the hate. It will have no effect on the work that I'm going to continue to do, because it started when I started doing the speaking, and so I'm not at all concerned about that.
Yeah, no, it's going to happen. You're going to get that in anything that you do in life. There's always going to be someone that's going to kick you while you're down, or kind of poo-poo whatever.
I would like them to come in. Let them come in. They can be a guest.
Yep, we got an extra seat.
They can come in and talk to us, and they can tell us why they think life sucks so bad.
Yep.
And who knows? I'm not looking to change anybody's mind.
Yeah.
That's not our goal, I don't think. I think our goal is to help people start their day and their week off on a good note, and maybe change their perspective and their lens a little bit, you know? So.
Yeah, every now and then we'll have something that might flip a switch for someone, maybe change their view on a certain topic. But hey, if that never happens, you know what? I'm still having a good time.
Oh, yeah.
I'm glad to have you guys over here today, having fun. We got to laugh. We had some good laughs before we came on the air. And I'm sure we'll have some more afterwards.
Right. And if anybody questions, if anybody questions the reach, like the reach of this whole thing, when we started this, right before we started the podcast today, I told Donnie, and I was talking to you, Jay, I said, I'd like to post some stuff before we get the podcast started, just for the folks that follow me.
Well, this might be a trigger for Don right now.
Just for the folks that yeah, right?
Don, take a picture with my phone. I got it on my camera. Take a picture with my phone.
Just for the folks that follow me. But there's a company, just to give you an idea, since this post, this post was 34 minutes ago, okay? There is a company out in LA, and it's called GirlTalk Network. And there's a woman by the name of Sarah Pendrick, and she started this company, and her main goal in starting this company was to inspire women, to empower and inspire women. She has spoken all over the country. She has gotten not just celebrities, but her closest friends from the LA area. She hosts empowerment work for women, and she would not at all consider herself a feminist in any, and that's a whole nother discussion.
Yeah, another topic.
But she's just a very smart, strong, beautiful lady who wants to empower other women to be the same. And from the time that we started this podcast, 34 minutes ago, she wrote to me, John and Jay, so pumped for you. I want to come on the podcast next time I'm in Mass. So, and she started this on her own, and there are countless stories like that from all over. So that's that's a person out in Los Angeles, California, who has nothing to gain by sharing that. So if you think that you can't be an inspiration to somebody else, or you can't inspire somebody else, you can't touch somebody else's life positively, you will never, ever be able to unless you start by getting yourself right. Yep. And I work on it every day.
Yeah.
I'm more flawed than, Donnie's known me almost my entire life. So we are not at all sitting up here, at least I'm not, I don't think you are either,
nope,
pretending to have all the answers. I want to do my best to become part of the solution.
Yep. And maybe people will want to be guests on our podcast, or they'll want to submit a story to us, but maybe this will inspire someone to start their own podcast, write a blog, put what they're going through out there. So I think that's a good stepping off point for people to realize, like, hey, this has a broad reach. I can affect people in a positive way. I can share what I'm going through, and it really doesn't take much, especially with what we've got for technology these days. I mean, you could do it. Well, I wouldn't recommend doing it driving down the road in your car, but
don't do that.
But you have that ability nowadays. You can be anywhere,
and your reach is far greater than people think. I was we're all Gary Vee guys, but I was reading something he posted recently relative to technology, and I forget exactly the quote that he used, but it was sort of along the lines of technology hasn't hindered people, the social media world where a lot of people post negative stuff. He said it just exposes people.
Right.
So this exposes us, and that's also intentional. So I can be more mindful of doing better and doing a better job of walking the walk a little bit more.
Yep.
So I don't know, man. I think this is just the start of something that's going to take off and be
I'm excited.
a lot of fun.
I'm having a lot of fun with this already, and like you said, we're 37 minutes in, so I'm pumped about this. This is going to be pretty awesome.
It's going.
Don, was that your phone? Do you have the audio on?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
I heard that. It's like, I know there's no one ringing my doorbell.
Well, Donnie sent me a text message before. I feel like I have to sit like a robot up here. And for those people that know me well, I can only sit still for about 2 minutes at a time. So the fact that I've done it for about 40 minutes already is insane. And he sent me I'll read it. This is from Donnie, Seven Roads Media. He's
about 6 feet away from us right now.
Who is in the same room. He's an awesome guy, but he writes, "Try not to move your feet. The vibration will affect the camera." What do you want to do? Glue him into the floor?
That may be the next step.
We're gonna have
That's
to.
not going to work for me.
Yeah. So this is our first go at it. You've been a guest on the podcast. The setup was a bit different back then, but we want to provide a good product, so we set the room up to be able to film in here so that we could put it out on YouTube.
What do you mean the room? You mean the
studio,
multi-million-dollar
the
elaborate
facility,
studio facility.
Yep, the studio facility.
What
world headquarters?
Yeah, hashtag Positivity Studios.
Yeah, what room?
Yeah, so
place is awesome.
They're gonna see this too, so they're gonna know.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah,
I don't care. This is our base of operations.
Yep. Unless we go on the road.
With the pumpkin.
If you've got... Yeah. Do you really not like pumpkins?
I hate pumpkins.
What's your thing against pumpkins?
Well,
it's October.
I like pumpkins. But see, that's the thing. And as soon as October ends, everybody will have tinsel and lights hanging from their house. And
that's true. A lot of
I love pumpkin
Christmas
pie.
Decorations out there already.
I know. And the malls, and it's so commercial.
Yep.
But again, without getting too quirky, we are surrounded by commercialization. And Halloween, everything. I get, but let's not forget what it's really supposed to be about.
Yeah.
For my kids, it's definitely about the gifts, presents, and candy. And I'm working hard to try to get them away from that. But
that's not what it's about?
No, well, it's not what it's supposed to be about. But yeah, I'm not a I don't know. I don't know what the quirk is with pumpkins. I'm not a huge pumpkin guy.
Like I said earlier, I'm glad I put it on your side of the table because I get a little kick out of that bothering you.
How awesome would it be, though, if the first episode I smashed that thing into pieces?
That would
not very positive, but it would be funny.
It would be funny.
Donnie's like, do it.
His eyes are wide open.
Yeah,
he's thinking, just don't throw it towards the camera.
Yeah, it's really expensive. He reminds me all the time about how expensive his stuff is. In fact, the last price he quoted me, I have to speak this week at a school, and clearly his equipment is expensive because I feel like I'm being dropped as a client.
You're paying for it all in that one gig.
Are you kidding? I'd have to do 10 of those gigs to pay what he asked. I'm going to tape my iPhone to my forehead and walk around for an hour and a half. That's how I'm going to get the film.
GoPro shots from now on.
Listen, you guys know I'm not a technology guy.
Oh, I know.
I don't. Yeah, exactly. So, but that's all right. We're on the way here. We're on the way.
Yeah, we're off to good things. What else you got today?
Oh man, you know me. I could go forever. Let me ask you.
Sure.
One, maybe a good way to end, either from you or from both of us, is either since you started the company. I'm just curious. Since you started the company, what's one of the things that you could point to, or a story that you could point to, where you know that your goal in trying to create this brand has worked for at least one person?
That's a good question.
And I know it's totally on the spot question, but
yeah, there's a lot of situations where I get people that message me, not necessarily on like a public venue, but like a text message, and I can think of a few of those people offhand that they've sent me text messages and say, if I don't post a video that day or I haven't posted a podcast episode that like, hey, what happened to the podcast this week? There was a week where I missed posting an episode, and there's days now and then where I miss making videos because I'm doing other things.
Sure.
And I'm only one person. I'm stretched pretty thin these days, but
yeah.
It means a lot when people reach out to me and ask what's going on, how am I doing, is everything okay, because they missed seeing the video, they missed hearing the podcast. Is there anything I need?
It's awesome.
And I know it's not probably as a specific an answer as maybe you were looking for, but knowing that it reaches people and that people are giving me the attention that that I'm trying to provide them with a product or value, whether it be a video or a podcast or some lesson that they can take out of this, but it means a whole lot for people to give me that attention and reach back out when they maybe get an idea that something's not right. Maybe hey, you missed posting the podcast. Everything okay? You busy? You need help with anything? That's really, really awesome. That means a lot to me.
So it's the best.
There's a lot of those cases out there, and yeah.
Well, I brought it up intentionally
awesome.
because I think people that may be new to either the podcast or the brand that hadn't had connections with you already or personal connections with you already, I think it's important for people to sort of get how this whole thing started and why you started it,
Yeah. It's just a message that it's such an easy message to spread, and a lot of people see it, they're like, positivity, yeah, that's genius. Well, I didn't invent positivity,
right.
and I never claimed to be the most positive person, but I think it's important for us to put that positive foot forward, put it on display, so to speak. And if you can, wear a shirt or a hat that says I'm a positive person, makes you more approachable sometimes. People see the shirt or the hoodie that I'm wearing, and I wear one of my things every single day.
Yeah.
A lot of times the same one over and over again. But
I know, I can tell.
Yeah, people will reach,
Do people stop you and ask?
People,
like,
yeah. I get a
awesome.
number of people who ask, hey, that's pretty cool. Where'd you get that?
Yeah.
And, I never have a card or anything,
and you
but
tell
I talk
them that I am the mogul.
Yeah, I'm the guy.
I am the Damon John.
Well, it's funny because people will say, hey, are you the hashtag positivity guy? They'll see me, pull up in my car, or they'll see me wearing a shirt, something that they've seen on a video, and hey, you're the positivity guy? I'm like, it's so weird to be, coined as the positivity guy, and they don't necessarily know me. Or I'll see pull into a store and see a sticker or someone wearing a shirt,
sure.
something that I've never met them before, but they've reached out and they'll tell me their name, and I'm like, probably a little creepy to them, but you live here at this address, number 42. Like because I mailed it to them
to their house. Yeah,
yeah, that's how I associate it with them. But it's pretty cool. It's it's a message that's very easy to spread. There's a whole bunch of different ways to spread it. So this is just putting out the podcast, putting out the videos, giving people a shirt or a sticker or a hat, something that they can wear to say, hey, I'm a positive person. Approach me. I can't tell you how many times people have said, hey, how are you today? Like that shirt. Just probably something they wouldn't have done if I was just wearing your everyday, a blank shirt or something like that.
That's
but
right.
It says positivity on it. People will say, hey, he must be someone I want to talk to.
And I know you've picked up steam not just locally, but I know you've also picked up steam through you got a guy in the NFL that's gotten on board with you.
Yeah, Cornelius Edison. He's currently with the Vikings now. He's bounced around from a couple of different teams, but rookie center in the NFL, and another guy who's out there doing awesome things. He's he's done a couple of camps with some other players, and they help out the youth in their communities.
Sure.
Share their love for the game, share their talent, share some tips and tricks, and just giving back, things like that. But it's.
I know you've done some. When you hear about guys like that, we talked about Chris Long earlier, but when you hear about guys like that doing that kind of stuff, it continuously reinforces. I think they have such a platform with the kids watching, but I think it makes me think that, and I know you've done some of this stuff already, but I would really love to as we get this thing going and it continues to build, try to do something in our area where not just the brand is the focus, but tapping into some of the people that either become our guests or reach out to us and do something where we can kind of bring everybody together, so that those that might be having a hard time or struggling with something they know that they have some folks out there that are willing to lend a hand or an ear and help out. So,
Yep.
I'm excited about that.
Yeah, there's a lot of different ways we could accomplish that, and I've got some ideas. One of the things that I thought about wanting to put on a while back was a 5K race.
Oh yeah.
Just we talked about Rays of Hope, but one of these ideas that I haven't been able to execute yet, just because of things going on. But how cool would it be to do a podcast, or a 5K, the Positivity 5K, where everyone picks a cause and you're there for a positive reason. Whatever it is you choose, you're there to support something good.
Yeah,
just get together, like-minded people.
And
a barbecue is something.
Great idea. Yeah, I mean, I also love the idea of doing one of these at a brewery. That's appealing as well.
I know a spot actually.
I know you do. Donnie's the beer snob. We gotta talk to Donnie about that.
Yeah, make sure we get permission.
Yeah, so I don't, in terms of how much time we have here and sort of kind of wrapping this one up for today. I think the people that were listening today kind of get the gist of what we're looking to accomplish, how excited we are about wanting to get this thing off the ground. So please, my final sort of plug for this episode is check us out, official #positivity.org. Check out the podcast, comment to us, send us messages, and we are truly just getting started on this, and we are beyond excited. So whether one person, 100 or 100,000 or more listen, we intend to keep doing it. So if you enjoyed it, let your friends know, let your family know, and we're happy and honored that you sort of let us into your lives for an hour or so every week, and we're excited to keep rolling with this. So
yep, we've on top of the website, you can follow along with John. He's doing good things every day at Real John C. Martin. I'm at the official #Positivity. It's great to have you guys listening. We really appreciate it, and we'll talk to you next time.
Yeah, have a great week, everybody. Be good to those you love. Let them know you love them, and we'll talk to you again soon.
Peace.
Thanks so much for listening to the #Positivity podcast. Online at #positivity.org, on Facebook at #Positivity, and Instagram, the official #Positivity. If you liked the episode, please rate and review. And remember, positivity is contagious. Sprinkle that madness everywhere. We'll catch you next time.